Hi, my name is Jim, and welcome to Getting Started with YugabyteDB on GKE using Helm 3. Now, the reason I'm shooting this video is because I noticed that in a lot of our older blog posts, we still have the Helm 2 instructions. So while we work through the backlog of updating those instructions, I did want to demonstrate how easy it is to get started with the new Helm 3 instructions, which you'll find to be the default if you go to our Quick Start or to our Downloads page. Now, if you're new to YugabyteDB, you might be asking yourself, what exactly is it? YugabyteDB is an open source, high-performance distributed SQL database that's built on a scalable and fault-tolerant design that's been inspired by Google Spanner. It's PostgreSQL compatible, so if you're coming from that ecosystem, YugabyteDB is going to be very familiar to you. It supports advanced RDBMS features like triggers and stored procedures, UDFs, and more. Now, for the purposes of this demonstration, here's what we're going to walk through. First, we'll do a quick review of the prerequisites. Then we'll add the YugabyteDB charts repository. We'll fetch the updates, validate the chart version. Then we'll create our namespace, install YugabyteDB, check the cluster status, and then we'll show you how to explore YugabyteDB using the YSQL shell, as well as where to go retrieve the pertinent information that you might need if you want to connect some external clients and/or tools. All right, so we are in the Google console here, and I've already got a Kubernetes cluster up and running. Assuming that you do as well, we're ready to get right into it. So let's go ahead and verify that we are indeed running the latest version of Helm, and you can see we are running the 3 version, which is the purpose of this video, 3.2.1. So that's a good start. Next up, what we want to do is that we want to add the YugabyteDB charts repository, and once that's successfully done, then the next thing that we want to do is fetch updates for that to make sure that that repo is going to be the most current one. Looks like that succeeded as well. Next up, what we want to do is validate that particular chart version, and here you can see that it's version 2.1.8. Which is great because that is the latest version of YugabyteDB as of shooting this particular video. Next thing we want to do is create the namespace, and we're going to create the YB-demo namespace, and that's what we're going to leverage when we actually install YugabyteDB in our next step. All right, so with the namespace created, we're ready to go ahead and install Yugabyte. And depending on your environment, you may want to install Yugabyte so that it doesn't consume a ton of resources. I'm in a demo environment, so I normally do this, but if you follow our Quick Start or our Getting Started guide, it gives you both options. It gives you instructions on how to install Yugabyte in resource-constrained environments, or guidance on how to run YugabyteDB where there's plenty of resources available for the particular system. So let's just go ahead and execute the command, and it'll take a few moments for the YugabyteDB cluster to get up and running. All right, once YugabyteDB is up and running, you can execute the status command, and that will give you the status of the cluster. The other thing that you're able to do is actually go into the console, and if you go to Services and Ingress, here you'll be able to actually see the various services that are up and running, the number of pods, the endpoint information, etc. So that's going to be 2 places where you can actually look at that particular status. So let's go ahead and clear our terminal here. Next thing we want to do is get access to the YSQL shell, and you want to remember that the YSQL API is going to be Postgres compatible. So when you're inside of this particular client, it's going to look, smell, and feel a lot like Postgres. So all the typical things that you're going to want to do, like create tables, database objects, selects, build indexes, all that good stuff, that's what you're going to be able to do inside of the YSQL shell. Now, what if you have a database administration tool or development tool that you like? So you're asking, what's the easiest way to get those tools configured, well, you're going to need to get the endpoint information, and you can either get that from the Google console, or you can actually output it here in the terminal. So say, for example, if we wanted to connect a tool like pgadmin, you're going to need 2 bits of information. You're going to need your external IP information, and you are also going to need the port designation for the YSQL API, which is going to be 5433, which is 1 number difference from Postgres. And really, that's all there is to it. So for more information on this particular Kubernetes deployment, or different types of deployments that you want to do, whether they be on your laptop, in a public cloud, for production, for development, a lot of the different deployment options on Kubernetes are going to be in the docs. So just navigate over to the Kubernetes section, and you'll definitely find the instructions that you're going to want to need based on the scenario that you want to get up and running on. And that's it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions after you've installed Yugabyte, make sure to head on over to the Slack channel. That's where we discuss all things Yugabyte. And if you like what you see, make sure to give us a star on GitHub. We always appreciate a gesture like that. So we'll see you next time. Thanks.